2414 is a podcast about finding hope and common ground through casual conversation. Like the friends on the road in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 24, verse 14, we want to walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. Thanks for walking with us.
Why, hello there.
Why, hello there.
My name is Shane Welter. I'm joined by Pastor Dan Weber Danielson.
Are you going to be weird the whole episode?
Only half.
Okay.
But yeah. Hey, what's up?
What? That's good to hear. I was just thinking I should challenge you to do an accent. For how long can you maintain an accent? That would be not appropriate, though, so please don't.
We'd have to banish that episode to the Nine Realms.
That's the kind of episode we could sell for not a fundraiser, but
I thought you meant like a premium.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like for our premium subscribers.
For our premium subscribers, you get the Irish accent episode.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
Oh no, but this is 2414. If you're confused, so are we. This is a podcast about casual conversation, and that's all we're doing. But that's it. That's literally it. But today we're continuing a little mini season series on the Vibrant Conversations deck from Lutheran Ministries. Not sponsored, but that's the people who make it. So it's got some really fun conversation. It's like a conversation deck, and we're going through these. Some easy, some hard, some vague questions that they have, but. Yeah, that's what we're doing. But before every episode, we like to do a little highs and lows, a random game too.
Yeah.
If you have no idea, again, if this is your first episode, I'm so sorry. You might be confused because it's habit for us, but it's also just something joyful to do, something fun. Do something fun in life, and we play random games from the 80s.
I was listening to a podcast last week about rituals from a professor at Harvard.
Oh, it wasn't our friend Jim Marriott?
No. It was a professor at Harvard who's not a religious person, I don't think, just sort of the sociology of rituals and why they matter.
Yeah.
And he gave all these examples of things that people do that can add like significant meaning to their life. It's just like the thing that they started and it matters. Mm-hmm. And like in and of itself, it doesn't mean anything, but he kind of pried deeper to say, it was for example, like a husband and a wife. If you got divorced and your spouse did this thing with their new spouse, like how would you feel? And like they were like deeply betrayed. Like that was our thing. And just how rituals can be objectively like nothing and yet subjectively and personally have a lot of meaning. So So he gave the example of like one couple, they got married, and every time before dinner they would like clink their fork together 3 times. And then that's just like, that's their thing. That's their special thing. And there's nothing magical about it, but it adds value to their life.
And they'd feel weird without it.
And if they didn't do it, they'd miss it out. So anyway, that's just my way of saying.
Yeah, playing games is part of our... It's a weird thing that we do that adds meaning to our life.
But really, I think friends and relationships, you have little things you do that add value, even if even if it wasn't on purpose. Like, well, this is what we do now.
I felt that. Like, I felt that with like, I don't know, when you have like circles or cliques, or like just from that perspective,
community.
Or just your close friends. Like when you are coming into a new group of friends, potential friends, whatever, they have their like, don't I don't know, don't drop the cork stuff. And they're like ha ha ha, like yeah, that means something. And I don't know, just a random thing, but like that's I don't know, that's part of, maybe it's not a ritual, but it in some ways referencing is part of that ritual because it's funny to them and that group. It brings them closer because they're referencing this thing that they do. I don't know.
So one of the things we do is highs and lows and some sort of silly game often.
Yeah. So highs and lows. We'll kick it off since I'll just throw it to you. Yeah, what are some highs and lows of the past decade?
Yeah, some lows. We have been without internet for 8 days, maybe.
Still,
they were there today.
Wow.
I don't know.
Comcast,
whoever,
the Men in Black.
Yeah, I don't know. The powers that be came today. I wasn't there. As of yesterday, we had an 8-hour window that they would be here. And then they also, in the text message, they said, and sometime tomorrow morning, we will narrow it down to a 4-hour window when we'll be there. Like, oh, wow. Thanks, guys.
Very convenient.
It's really generous of you.
Is it just you without internet?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Oh, wow.
So we don't know what's going on there. So no internet for over a week. That's been kind of rough. And then I was going to say too, not a blessing either. This hasn't been like a. Some of it's been nice. It's been very primitive. If we want to watch something, we have to watch a DVD. So like turn the thing on, the tray slides out. I gotta like rifle through the library,
the random collection,
open up the plastic case and extract this disc without cracking in half. It's primitive.
Wow.
And
so much work.
I was thinking, the blessing there is I don't have to rewind anything.
Oh, yeah, it's not a VHS.
I'm like, oh, kids, let me tell you, there was a day. If the previous person didn't rewind it, you still got to wait a minute before you can watch your show.
You all just had to sit there and think
and
about
listen to
life.
It hum, and learn from their mistake. So that's been kind of fun watching DVDs. But where it's not been fun is my kids have homework, and a lot of it's online.
Oh.
So we've been... one time Charlotte drove them to a friend's house. Like, can we use your internet for a little bit? And they're like, well, our kids aren't home, but she can sit at our table. So we did that. We dropped Alexis off
just to do homework
at a friend's house.
That's crazy.
We had our phones turned on to mobile hotspots, but we have terrible reception, so that's barely good for anything.
Yeah.
So that's a little low. Unrelated, I've been out of a running sync. I've traveled. I've had 2 trips in the last 2 weeks. So a lot of travel. And it's just hard to get a rhythm. So those are some lows. I've got quite a few highs.
Oh, wow.
I'll be rapid fire about them.
If you want.
One is I'm at an age in my life where I just go to bed when I want. So Saturday night, it was like 8 o'clock. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. So I went to bed at 8 o'clock on Saturday.
Did you eat?
I had dinner before that, a little bit, but I was like 12, lights out. I was done.
You're just out.
There's something very freeing about that. So early bedtime, that's a high. A silly high is 17 years ago, somebody bought us or gave us this little clock next to the bed that projects the time onto the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had that thing for more than a decade and a half, and it died. It was still going, but somehow it lost touch with reality, and it didn't have the right time because it automatically set the time. Oh. And so it would be like 2 hours off or 3 hours off. And so Charlotte would like try to change it. And like, all right, well, if I tell it we live in Hawaii, then it'll be the right time.
Oh, no.
And it's like, stop doing math in the middle of the night. We'll buy a new clock. I'm sure it's $10.
Yeah.
So we got a new projection clock, which, boy, let me tell you, they have ramped up the lumens on that thing in 17 years.
Is that a good thing or bad thing? Like
TBD right now. It's a funny thing.
It's early enough.
The other one was dying, and you had to squint, and you could barely see it. Now it's just like, whoa. It's like a bar that has the neon light, and it's just emitting. So it's like a nightlight from the ceiling now. I can navigate the room in the dark because of how bright red that corner of our bedroom is with the time, and the numbers are like 18 inches is what it feels like.
Wow.
So that's a silly high. It's ridiculous. 2 other ones. One of my travels last week, I got to go to Phoenix, and I saw my big brother, who I haven't seen for a while.
Yeah. And
I love how casual our family is. I texted him the day we were leaving. I was like, hey, I'm going to be in town today. Can we get together tomorrow? And he's like, well, it's going to be raining, so maybe we couldn't do a hike, but we could do orange rolls and coffee. And I was like, cool. The only time I can do that is like 5 a.m. because I've got things to do. And he was like, done. So I had orange rolls and coffee with my brother at 5 a.m. on like 8 hours notice. So that was cool. And then my last high is your quote earlier today.
My quote earlier today.
So we discovered it's 310 days to Christmas as of the recording of this episode.
Yes.
And when I shared that with Shane, he said something like, it's crazy how many days are in a week. And I was like, what? Because we typically record once a week. He's like, you miss 1 week and that's half a month. And I was like, I don't think that's how the math works. But in podcast rhythms, it is.
Yeah. We record once a week.
Yeah. It's crazy how many days are in a week.
So if we
You miss one
if
week. That's half a month.
That's 14 days in between episodes. And yeah, so we miss 1 week. Or what is it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, you miss 1 day of recording. That's half a month.
But hasn't been, or was it 2 weeks? No,
I don't know.
Oh man. Either way,
I just love it's crazy how many days are in a week. Think about it. Yeah, dude, I think about it.
God, it's a lot. It's
All
a
right.
big, 7's a big number.
So that was 10 minutes of my highs and lows. Shane, over to you. What's a challenge? What's a burden? What's a joy right now?
Yeah. What was a burden? Last week, was sick on not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before I got sick.
You sound better now.
I feel better, but I don't like any, I don't know, cold or, illness where you have post-nasal drip. Just, it's chunky. It's in that chunky
Do you have
phase.
a sound effect for post-nasal drip?
Probably. Yeah. Let's do.
Just that's natural. That's not a sound effect. That's
that was
just you
not a sound
breathing. You're
effect.
like a pug that's just trying to get air. That's okay. We can be better prepared next time.
There's that.
That's like a gut punch.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
That was it.
That was it.
That's all I got.
Post-nasal drip. That's the phrase of the day.
Yeah.
The phrase that pays.
Hate nothing more.
Okay.
So, that wasn't fun, but I was probably the most. I was sick on last Monday. I don't know, whatever that, not that matters. But and then Tuesday, I was like, all right, I probably feel better, and that's when I'll do work. So I took a sick day on Monday, work on Tuesday. But Tuesday I was far worse than Monday. But I was like, well, I don't have any choice right now. I hate sick days so much because it's like the work has to get done. It's
The
not
work
like
doesn't get
done. It's like customer service. I'm like, well, someone will fill in. Like, no, this is it.
Yeah.
So just powered through, and that was just miserable. But high was the going to Phoenix, and I would say the high from that was just seeing my mom.
Yeah.
I just I love my family so much, but we all just suck. Like we're on this mutual we're all terrible at staying in touch.
Okay.
And then, when we see each other, oh, I've been meaning to text you. And that's just the rhythm of life. Then we call each other after 6 months and it's I wanted to send you a text. Yeah, we all did. But, we're all that's just all. But then when we do connect, it's so meaningful. So getting to see my mom meant a lot. And then too, last episode it said Lauren and I are pregnant. And so so we got to see Lauren's side of the family for Christmas, and we'll be seeing them again for other events down the line.
Have you gotten any unsolicited baby advice yet?
We have. Lauren has I don't remember what they are, but it's getting to that point now where it's people want to help, but I don't think they know how to sometimes. And so they'll give their this is what you should do kind of thing. Whatever.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So being in Phoenix meant a lot because that'll be the only chance I'll get to see anyone from my side of the family during pregnancy. Our first pregnancy,
that sounds like a plea for help. Hey, if there's any other welters out there, come show up.
Yeah.
Washington, we got a great airport. You can get here direct.
And Lauren and I are 15 minutes from there. It's great. We love it. We see every incoming and outgoing flight. It's a cool area. But yeah. We want to see family more. And I don't know. I feel like it's a special. I know my family will see, the child when they're born. But during the pregnancy, it's such a small window and I don't know, I'd like to, see family. Either way. So got to see my mom, and that was awesome. And just other friends and acquaintances from around the world while in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Which was really great to be able to do that.
Cool. Would you consider some sort of fundraiser for the youth involving naming rights for your child? For the youth, for the children.
Only if whatever the final outcome was merely a suggestion.
Okay.
And
what if it's a middle name? How much money would it take for a youth fundraiser for you to yield middle name naming rights?
Millions.
Okay.
Millions.
It'd be probably a lot lower for me. All right, that's fine. No judgment.
It's first child, so like,
all right,
I don't know.
that's true.
There's already enough like pressure on like.
What about cat? What if you got a cat? Would you consider a youth fundraiser for naming rights for your cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, I might get you a cat.
Oh no!
Like as a baby present.
Oh no! What? How does that help the baby?
Like a companion, like somebody to keep the baby warm at night.
I heard you're having a baby. I gave you my college debt. Good luck. This
a cat. No, it's a cat.
Same thing. So you have to work for it. It's a bird.
All right.
Oh man.
Well, we'll workshop that one a little bit.
Oh well, yeah, we'll figure that one out. Okay. So yeah, those are some those are highs and lows and random.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
I'm glad your mom got to connect with you and your bride.
Yeah, thank you. Me too. It was good time.
I have one more high I didn't share earlier.
Oh yes, fire away.
When I drive, I often listen to either podcasts of far more substance than this that I need a break from, or jazz or something kind of quiet and calm. Mm-hmm. But I needed some giggles a week or two ago. And so I went through the 2414 archives and I found the episode, I think it was titled Outburst. It's when we first played the game Outburst. And my commute is about 15 minutes. And that episode is probably a solid hour. Mm-hmm. So I had days worth of laughter
just that
driving
episode.
To and from work, listening to us discover this stupid game. And it's given me so much joy.
Just rediscovering Outburst.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I got to live it again. So if listeners, if you haven't ever heard the Outburst episode, the original, or it's been a while since, I recommend it. I'm a fan.
That was a we didn't realize the memories that would form with
we were going places.
We were going places.
So with that, Shane, will you tell us what our radio adapted version of 1986 Outburst means?
Yes, absolutely. Even though everyone's probably heard of this already.
I'm going to give you 1 minute to explain the game.
Easy. Outburst is like Family Feud. There's a topic, and we have to guess the 10 survey says is. Okay. But according to our rules.
There's no X's.
Yeah, according to our rules, we can guess as many as we want to in order to get the top 10, and then we see how many we got out of 10. If the topic is flowers, we gotta just start hailing away at all the flowers we
had
know.
A garden flowers not too long ago.
That was last episode.
Gardenias?
Gardenia?
I don't remember.
It was
pansies?
I remember that was an answer. So
okay,
so that's it.
We have about 1 minute. There is no survey. I like to imagine it's just one dude at a typewriter who just like thought of things. He came up with 800 cards, and then for each of those, he's like, I bet I could come up with 10 things for that.
Yeah.
And then he did. He didn't run it by anybody. Nobody said that's appropriate for children or families. He's just like, I got lists of 10. Can we sell this? And Hasbro or somebody's like, yeah, we can.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay. And listeners, you can play at home. If you need more time than us, we got about like 60 seconds. But if you want to pause it, or if you just want to scream at us, the ones we obviously didn't get, you can do that too. Or you can write it in the comments if it's YouTube or something.
I like to imagine somebody's on the subway right now, New York City. They're about to meet their new best friends and say, "Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your conversation. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm gonna need your help." And you put it on speakerphone, and you guys come together like it's a bonding thing. Or maybe you're on a road trip, and all right, kids, take your earbuds out. We need all of us for this one.
If that happens in New York City, that would be incredible.
All right, you seem so. You don't seem very optimistic about it.
I'm never optimistic.
Okay,
that's the secret.
All right, Shane, let's do it. I've got the timer ready.
Okay,
what's our category?
And side note, if the category is
anything racial
didn't age well from 1980 standards, we cannot do that. All right. Our topic today is candy bars, brands.
What brands?
Brands.
Okay.
Candy bars,
go.
Brands.
Mars.
Hershey.
Kit Kat. Wonka.
Ooh, nice.
Is Snickers a brand, or is that Are these specific names?
I think let's just roll with everything.
M&M's.
Reese's.
Oh boy. Kellogg's.
Oh, what's Tootsie?
Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll or Pop?
Tootsie Pop. Milky Way. These aren't brands, dude.
Yeah, well. Hasbro.
Rolo.
I don't know. Yeah.
General Mills.
Oh, what's Hostess? Sure.
Ooh, that's a good one. Procter and Gamble.
Oh, nice.
That's not. They make
I don't know.
Soap.
I don't know.
Candy bar brands.
Nerds.
That's not a thing.
Oh, Smarties.
You're just saying candies. These
So what? Butterscotch.
Butterscotch.
I don't know. I'm scared. Peppermint.
And peppermint. Famous candy bar brands. Peppermint. I'll give you $1 of peppermints in there. Shane, I think we got 3.
That's pretty it.
Maybe 2.
Are there even 10? I feel like they were all bought out 20 years ago.
Yeah, maybe there used to be a lot more independent family.
I think
chocolatiers. And now it's just one big company.
Yeah, I bet Crunch was its own brand.
Oh,
and then
Nestle. We didn't say Nestle. All right.
I said Hershey's.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Oh, Nestle.
All right. Nestle's going to be one of them, but that doesn't count.
Nestle.
This is going to be miserable, Shane.
Well,
what's your guess, by the way? I said 3, probably 2.
Oh, yeah, 2.
Okay.
It's 2. It's definitely 2. All right.
Mars.
All right, number 1, Mars.
That's right. Yeah, got it. 1.
Woo. Number 2, Snickers.
Oh, that's 1. We got 2.
We already got 2.
2 for 2.
3, Milky Way.
That's not a brand.
But did you say it?
We said it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
All right, we're at 3.
This is why I was spitting out everything.
All right. I misplayed this one, Shane. I'm sorry.
4, Three Musketeers. I don't think we said that.
No.
Again, it clearly says on the top, candy bars, brands. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right.
Number 5, Almond Joy.
So they should have just said candy bars.
They could have just said candy bars. We would have gotten way more.
I got so lost in Mars and Hershey.
I was so concentrated on brands. All right, number 6, Hershey's bar.
We said Hershey.
I'm just going to give it to us
counts.
because we did brand.
Yeah.
7, Tootsie Roll.
What? Dude. All right.
They laughed at me.
We're at 5.
Okay. We could have gotten all of these, by the way. All right. Number 8, Twix.
Did I said Kit Kat.
No, we didn't say Twix.
Okay.
9, Milkshake. What is this?
Everybody's favorite brand of candy bar.
Milkshake.
Milkshake.
Was it a candy? Do you remember a candy bar that just said milkshake on it?
No.
There's Whoppers. That's kind of like a malty milkshake flavor, but
your milkshake, Shane, brings nope. Okay. No. Milkshake. My favorite brand of candy bars, the milkshake.
Okay. I have not looked at 10 yet. Now I'm eager.
Yeah.
10. Lame. Mounds.
That's just Almond Joy without almonds.
Without the.
Okay.
I don't like this.
That's
dude, cheating. Despite all the odds.
This might be the first time some listener can go through the archives. When have we ever underestimated?
Both of us.
Yeah, we both underestimated the actual number. We got twice as many as we thought we would. I don't think it's ever happened.
I don't think it'll ever happen again.
It might never happen again. And this is one we had a chance.
We could have knocked it out of the park. I don't think we would have gotten milkshake.
There's 0 chance. Even if it said famous candy bars and we had 10 minutes, we wouldn't have said milkshake.
That was not in our vocabulary.
Milkshake. Also, was it Tootsie Rolls or Tootsie Pops?
Tootsie Roll.
That's not a candy bar either.
Yeah, that's not.
We said it, but
bar.
we shouldn't have.
Wow, I don't like this.
I'm proud of our
rough.
5.
I'm proud of it too. We didn't deserve that, but we did at the same time.
It's not the hero we asked for.
Oh, well,
okay. Well, that was something.
So that's one game. I'm gonna be bold. I love outbursts so much, I love shit. I love spreading the love, and we're trying something bold here. We're gonna try both games.
One of each.
This other game is Wheels versus Doors, based off the age-old question that Socrates asked: are there more wheels or doors in the world?
Be excellent to each other was his answer,
as he commonly said. So that's what we're gonna
do. Wheels versus doors. Our 2.0, as we've adapted it.
2.0 rules.
Having never once actually looked at the rules. How this game works is there are 6 items on a card, and we're going to compare them head to head, and Shane and I are going to guess between the first pair which one we think there are more of. And we're going to make our way through the whole 6, not with every comparable permutation, but just down the sequence. And then we'll reveal it and see who got more right. So let's, without any further ado, Shane, what's our first pair?
Yeah, and just guess which is higher or lower. That's all you got to do. 6 rounds, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
All
so
right.
our first pair.
Our first pair. Meters in diameter of the largest omelet ever made.
So diameter is straight across a circle. So radius is half, circumference is all around, diameter the full width.
Edge to edge.
So how many meters?
How many meters? Meters in diameter of the largest omelet ever made.
Okay, I've got an idea.
This is as this is crazy as milkshakes or Greek gods.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Are there more meters in the in diameter of the largest omelet ever made, or Greek gods?
Okay, I think I've got a guess there. Our second pairing.
Okay, our second pairing: Greek gods
or
versus species of dinosaur in the Flintstone cartoons.
Oh wow! You added Flintstones. I was already writing when you said species, and then you said in the
Flintstones cartoons. And I don't know if that's referring to a single episode where they're like,
I think it's in the whole series.
What's his wife's name?
Barney Rubble and Bam Bam. That's the kid.
That's the kid.
Judy.
Trisha.
Fred Flintstone. Wilma.
I was thinking Velma.
No, she's in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Velma. Okay. Well, all right. Whatever.
Okay.
All right. So now, are there more species of dinosaur in the Flintstone cartoons or time zones in China?
Wow.
I'm so unsure about everything right now.
I question everything. Okay. All right. Are there more species of dinosaurs identified in the Flintstones or time zones in China? Okay.
I might, I don't know. Okay. Are there more time zones in China or types of French bread?
Okay. All right. Are there more time zones in China or types of French bread?
This might be the first,
this is good.
Small. I mean, we have cards that's like billions.
Yeah.
And this
trees.
How many trees? Go.
Okay.
Man.
Make your answer. Be bold.
Okay.
Shane.
All right. Next round. Round 5, I guess. Are there more types of French bread or meters in length of the longest horse jump over water?
Okay. Are there?
Yeah. I'll read this again.
Okay.
That last one. Meters in length of the longest horse jump over water.
Okay.
So I'm imagining long jump.
Yeah.
Into water, but
over water. I was picturing what's that track event?
Long jump?
No.
Oh, steeplechase?
Steeplechase.
On the final lap, you have to jump into water.
You splash in puddles, because why not? Okay, let's do our final pair here, Shane. Oh, have you written down your answer for that one? Boy, I'm feeling good.
Last one.
Good.
Obviously, meters in length of the longest horse jump over water, or meters in diameter of the largest omelet ever made.
All right. I feel pretty good.
Can I change an answer?
Ooh.
Am I allowed to? Or
with an asterisk, I guess. I mean, I tend to think all answers are final.
All right.
But
in context of the other answers, I was like, I don't know.
I think let's play it as it lies. Pencils down.
All right. Pencils down.
Do you want to go on record for what you think the highest and lowest is, or should we just play it as we've outlined it?
Yeah, why not? I think the highest for me.
Mm-hmm.
No. I want to see what you put.
Okay.
This will.
All right. I've made my note of what I think the highest and lowest are.
Yeah.
Our
this
first
is just
pairing.
bone tiebreakers.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
That's what it is. Okay. Here we go. Number 1, meters in diameter of largest omelet ever made, or Greek gods. I put Greek gods.
I also went Greek gods.
All right. The largest omelet ever made in diameter, 10 meters.
That's smaller than I was expecting.
Nope. Greek gods,
40?
12.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that was close. Okay. Got it, though.
Way lower than I thought that was going to be.
That was closer than I was expecting.
Woo. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Number 2,
No,
Greek
not
gods
a good
or
start.
species of dinosaur in Flintstone.
Oh, that's just...
There's 12 Greek gods.
I bet there's 7 Flintstone dinosaurs.
There are 5.
Okay. All right. I'm 2 for 2.
I am as well. Oh, I forgot to say what I put. I put Greek gods.
Okay.
All right. Number 3, species of dinosaur in Flintstones or time zones in China.
I said time zones.
I said dinosaurs.
Okay.
There are 5 dinosaurs.
Mentioned
There
in the
are
Flintstones.
in Flintstones species. There are
7?
0 time zones in China.
They just aren't playing along with the rest of the world?
I guess not. According to the rules of
What?
wheels versus doors,
So
it was 0.
Because I remember when the Olympics were in Russia not too long ago.
Yeah, in the winter.
In my head, I want to say there were like 12 or 7.
I know Russia
It was
does
an
it.
enormous
Yeah.
time zone. And in my head, China's just like, no, we're one.
I guess.
It's all just
We can ask the internet overlords
Wow.
after.
Chairman Mao standard time.
I forgot to say, I put dinosaurs, by the way.
No, you said it, I think.
Okay, I did. All right.
0. Or they
0.
1. There's 1. How can there be 0 time zones? They have time. That would be 1 time zone.
I mean, unless they don't observe it in like zone, it's just time is time. Like regardless of like where you're at, there's no zone. Like
that'd be 1 time zone.
in American, I don't know, in Western
They've
culture,
banned time.
time regions. I don't know.
Okay.
The card says 0, and that's
all right.
That is my.
I question that, but 0 time zones in China. None. No time.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Just keep working.
Just keep, forever. Okay, round 4. Time zones in China or types of French bread.
French bread is what I put, by the way, anyway.
I put China.
All right.
So,
You went more dinosaurs than time zones and more time zones than French bread.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, the types of French bread, there's 15.
Okay. Wow, it's still not many.
Nope.
15.
Okay.
0.
Round 5. Round 5. Types of French bread or meters in length of the longest horse jump over water.
I stuck with French bread, by the way.
It's 15 French breads.
What did you put?
I put horse.
Okay.
And horse is 8.25 meters.
Yes, let's go.
And then that leads us back to meters longest horse jump over water or omelet. I put omelet.
I also put omelet, but it was the horse.
No,
omelet
it was the
10.
omelet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the omelet. Omelet with 10 meters.
10
horse
meters.
with 8.25.
All right.
So I got 4.
I got 5 out of 6.
Oh,
The only one I got wrong was time zones. I thought there would be.
got 'em all.
I thought there'd be 7 or 8.
bummer.
My highest was French bread, and my lowest was horse jump.
I said highest was Greek gods and lowest was time zones. So I got the time zones.
You got time, and I got my highest.
Did you know that French bread? So you're like, I think there's 15 French breads.
I was just thinking breads in France, not like different styles of baguettes. And I'm like, it's hundreds. So in my head, that was going to be massive. So
be
15
fair-
is way lower than I was expecting.
In my head, the whole time I was thinking Italian bread,
Like
white.
Olive Garden?
Yeah, I mean like white bread. I was like, well, there's like one white bread, so I was wrong on both fronts. So
How far did the horse jump? 8.7 meters?
8.25 meters. I don't know if that's from like an elevated or it's just flat
It can't
ground.
be elevated because you could just hurl them off a cliff and
Well,
you could beat
exactly.
that.
I don't know. I mean, this wasn't that.
But 8 times 3, that's a lot of distance. 24 feet
Over, I mean, meters. So that's like,
over water. Do you think they cleared water, or it's just how far can you jump and we're going to have a soft landing for
have you ever seen the extreme dogs at the Washington State Fair?
No.
Oh, well, next state fair, look up extreme dogs. It is literally that. There's this huge long pool of water and
It's like a long jump into water.
Yeah. And then these
Okay.
dogs just hurl themselves off
Okay.
and just go for distance.
Charlotte and I watched the most recent Nate Bargatze special on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
we also saw live when he was in town.
Oh, cool.
But there's a bit in there about a donkey doing a high dive, or a mule or something.
It's just pushing it off a cliff, right?
Essentially.
Does it have to live? Like, or is it a competition, or is it just you're watching?
No, it's like watching extreme dogs. Come watch the high diving donkey.
Because they can actually, I mean, they can actually like, it's a competition. Like,
For
see
the
how,
dogs,
how
not
far
the
your
donkey.
Yeah, I don't know about your donkey. You brought up the donkey. I don't know about. I don't know that.
What do you think the 5? Let's pause here before we get into our episode.
Before we have to talk about deep
What
stuff.
do you think the 5 dinosaur species in the Flintstones are?
I know one was the Stegosaurus
Stegosaurus.
because that he like scraped his head on the rocks.
I'm going to say pterodactyl with a P.
Yeah, that has to be one.
Brontosaurus is the. Back when I was a kid, there were only like 5 dinosaurs. That's the really tall neck one who ate like a giraffe. Like
Oh,
a giraffe.
yeah, that's the same one I'm talking about.
Stegosaurus is the one I think that has like the plates on its back, like the vertical armored plates.
Oh, is that okay?
And then there's Triceratops. I bet there's a Triceratops.
There has to be a
T-Rex or
that is oh no, that's not.
either T-Rex. Remember what was the one that had like the fist for a tail that it could swing around? It probably wasn't that.
I doubt that was on Flintstones. I would say the T-Rex. T-Rex,
All
like
right.
those are like the most.
I'm going for Stegosaurus, pterodactyl, Brontosaurus, Triceratops, and T-Rex.
Those are like the common 5.
All right, we'll have to look this up off air. I feel pretty good about my 5. Do you
Because
feel?
isn't there like isn't that like a woolly mammoth, like a dishwasher or something like that?
I don't think it's a dinosaur, is it?
Oh, maybe that has to be like.
Although I'm not
Counted
sure if a
as.
pterodactyl is either. You know, the people
Yeah.
all uppity on their dino species.
It is a big deal. Yeah, I've never seen a full episode of Flintstones. So.
I couldn't name many more, and I'm not sure those are even still species.
A human count as the cavemen of
Maybe so.
Flintstones? It's a trick question.
Shane, this was a good start. I'm excited about how this is developing. What's the name of our deck? You kept calling it colorful, but it's not colorful.
The Vibrant Conversations deck.
Vibrant Conversations deck.
Which, I think I said this in a previous episode, it's listed differently on their website. Like, the item name, I think, says the Vibrant Conversation deck. Or it just says Vibrant Conversation deck.
Okay.
But on the package, it says the Vibrant Conversations deck. And that's what I'm calling it.
That's what it says.
So, I don't know.
So for our purposes, this is just an excuse to start talking.
Correct, yeah.
And maybe you've, listeners and viewers, have been at a spot where it's hard to start conversation. Hey, how are you? Okay. I mean, all the things. Or this happened at the conference that you and I were at last week. Well-meaning people who are dear to me would ask paralyzingly broad questions, and I didn't know how to respond, and it went nowhere. So somebody I haven't seen for a year, how's the family? Where do I go with that? Or hey, how's ministry? Like awful and terrible, and I want to quit, and it's amazing, and I'm thankful, and it's scary. So there are times where you really want to connect, and it's just hard to get it going. And so for us, one of the reasons I think we're engaging with this deck on our podcast, which is about kind of processing normal life, is just a way to start a conversation. Whether we like the question or don't like the question, or maybe we spend a half hour complaining about the question. Okay, great. That we're engaging with each other and interacting with the world together.
And it gets us talking. We want people to talk. It's healthy. It's human.
Yeah, and it's also easy to get caught in conversation ruts. You know, you talk about the same things with the same people, and that's not bad. There's comfort in that. There's a beauty in kind of a well-worn path, but there's also a big wide world out there that we can engage with. So these 52 prompts divided by 4 suits of a deck. Each suit, I think, has its own kind of category, but looking at these once every week or every other week, I'm never going to be able to remember what the spades were last time and the diamonds.
No idea.
But that's okay. Here we go.
Suppose we could look back, but that's too much work.
Our prompt for the day.
Prompt.
First one, at least. The 6 of clubs. You want to guess what it is?
What type of spaghetti are you?
Ooh, this is a good one.
Oh, you get it gets the seal of approval.
I like it.
All right.
I don't have a quick answer, but here we go. Share a time when you didn't feel welcome or didn't feel included in a group of people. That's a deep feeling. Share a time when you didn't feel welcome or didn't feel included in a group of people. I've got a small recent one.
As do I.
Okay. Why don't you kick it off? Share a time when you didn't feel welcome or didn't feel included in a group of people.
I'm going to purposefully keep it broad as to not like, I don't know, burn bridges.
That's fair.
But like, I don't know, like Lauren and I are part of a group, and I don't know, we've been part of it since the humble beginnings, and we keep seeing all the fun stuff that they like the group and the new people part of it are doing, and Lauren and I are consistently never included in that for the better part of 6 years, and like it's a contrast of like the people part of the group are so nice to us, and like they are our friends, and like we really do care about them, but as far as like the group goes, we're not included in it for like the meaningful thing, like the highlight things, the big event projects, everything. Like,
and let me interject real quick.
Yeah.
I appreciate your struggle right now to engage with me and this question and recognize that it could be hurtful to people to be more direct about who you're talking about right now.
yeah,
And I just want to kind of honor and celebrate. It's really easy in our world to bash people and not care about that. But you're being very intentional to say, I love these people and I don't want to be hurtful, but I also want to process honestly of what it feels like to be left out. So thank you for navigating that kind of balance.
yeah, and and it's a great like group and organization that's doing great things for a lot of people. And again, I'm just keeping it so vague, which is helpful to listeners. But we definitely feel on the outside whilst being like
You're there, but it doesn't feel as inclusive in a certain sense. And even that word inclusive means different things in different contexts.
Yeah. So that's a vague one. I've got more specifics, but I'll toss it over to you. And
here's a weird one for me is, and again, I think it's important to name, we're trying to have a conversation. This is a real human sentiment that we experience as people when you feel like an outsider and you're not included. And that is not typically a good thing. And yet our goal isn't to tear anybody down. I didn't know this was going to be our question. But here's a recent one for me. I was at a church service, not here, and there were people who were doing certain motions, and I'll say the word liturgy, like they were embodying a worship experience with very kind of insider motions and words and actions, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I felt uninitiated, and I felt like an outsider because I'm like, oh, I didn't know we were supposed to do that at that point. Like you're just doing the thing. So
and
like,
were you like per se an outsider for it?
well, I mean, it was at a Lutheran church service. I'm a Lutheran pastor.
So you're pretty versed.
So ostensibly, like I'm kind of an insider. Like I'm in the club. I'm in the group. I'm credentialed.
Yeah.
And yet, and again, this isn't to tear down this person or these group of people, but in the service, there were certain key markers where the person next to me would bow at a 90-degree angle and hold his hands in a certain way and make the sign of the cross at various times throughout the service, and it was very clear, like he had a script that he was following along that I wasn't privy to. And the way and I want to assume the best of this person, that he was worshiping the Lord and engaging in this worship service. And I like to think he was not putting on a show or trying to virtue signal for anybody else. I really want to try to say, and I want to believe, this guy was expressing his own faith in a significant way for him. And yet what it did for me was I felt I wasn't good enough or smart enough or worthy enough. I felt confused and lost. And so in his attempt to have an intimate relationship with God and worship, I felt alienated from both. Like clearly there's a gap between us I wasn't aware of, and if that's what it means to be holy, like I'm not there.
Yeah. And then like, was it never addressed too? Like
the
like,
setting.
I mean, like, was this person like, hey, I'm blah blah blah. I just so you know, like
yeah, no, we didn't get to connect over it.
Okay.
So,
but that alienated you, and that alienation is not welcoming.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other instances recently where I felt like an outsider, unwelcomed or not included. Well, here's one that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like a super, like, so you and Jonah are doing Pokemon Go, and that's not my jam. Partly because I get too addicted to screens, so I need to cut it off.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel left out. It was just a moment where I realized, hey, that's not my thing. So that's like a positive example of, I was happy for you guys to be enjoying one another's company and a thing that you held in common. But I was aware, like, this is not what I have in common. So I can look at Brendan like, well, the boys are having fun. And like, so that's, to me, that's a good example of, this isn't always a bad or super negative thing, but there was a recognition of, oh, that's not my jam. Cool.
I would say in this, like, not similar to that at all, but something that like doesn't matter in the same vein. Like anytime Lauren and I have like gone to a restaurant and like there's just a clear lack of like dysfunction, like at this place of business, and like the hostess, it's minutes before they see they see you. It's like, well, I definitely don't feel welcomed, but like, is it worth even giving a chance? But even then, that sets up the expectation of like having a hostess, like somebody who like there to greet you first thing. Just even if all they're doing is like, hi, what's your name? I'm at a party. Like they can be the most unwelcoming person, but
being acknowledged,
but being acknowledged and there, like already does so much, as opposed from like what is this place? Do I seat myself? Am I supposed to wait? What am I doing? I'm trying to get like the person behind the bar's attention. What's going on? Like just in that confusion, that's just it. Yeah, it's unwelcoming because you're going into somebody else's establishment. You're like you're the guest, obviously, but how do you host that?
Yeah, at our conference last week in Phoenix, there were lots of opportunities to combat this. So Shane and I were at a church worker conference in Arizona, and there were lots of people. I don't remember how many participants they said.
Participants? 2,000.
Yeah, 2,000. And there are about 6,000 Lutheran Church Missouri Synod congregations in America. And I don't know how many were represented at this thing, but maybe,
lots.
but maybe 1,000 of the 6,000 congregations, maybe 2,000. Hard to say, but but my point is, there were lots of mutual friends and families and connections, and yet there were also a lot of like, I know Shane and I know this other person, but that other person brought somebody who doesn't know me, and so there were. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but there were a lot of cool occasions where you'd find yourself in a group of 2, 3, 4 people, and 1 or 2 didn't know everybody or didn't know anybody. And so I found myself constantly saying, hey, by the way, Sam, that's Shane and that's Matt. Matt, that's Shane and that's Dylan. And just sort of in every conversation, maybe not every, but I there was the opportunity like that. There was the opportunity in every conversation to stop and make sure everybody knew each other, at least names or connections. Hey, that's Dylan. He's from our church. He just graduated and he's a pastor up at Trinity. Hey, that's Matt. We went to church together in Omaha, and he's a pastor down in Tennessee right now. To just, hey, let's just take 10 seconds and connect the dot rather than letting Matt stand there like, who's talking now and why are we here and how come nobody's talking to me?
It's just, being acknowledged is so much of hospitality.
Yeah.
I want I'm making up a number, but like I'd say like that's 90% of it. Like it doesn't have to be meaningful. I think like we overcomplicate like hospitality.
You don't have to give
sometimes.
them a free. You don't have to give them a free mug.
You don't have to get the free package. All right, write your name down. Are you going to be on our email list? What's your like your whole family backstory? Like just simply being acknowledged, I think is is it, because I think I don't know, times you were not welcomed. It's just not being the least welcoming experiences are the ones you're just not acknowledged.
And it maybe doesn't even have to change the behavior. So I'm thinking about this worship experience. If the dude next to me even just had said, "Hey, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. I really try to participate in worship in a full body experience. I hope it doesn't distract you." Like just acknowledge that what you're doing is weird.
Yeah, and different.
You don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to like not do it. I don't want to restrict his thing.
Yeah. But like if that acknowledgement would have just been covered, at least there wouldn't have been a startle or if it was acknowledged after, like at least it's just covering like, okay, that just happened. No one's saying anything. All right, cool. Like right. It's just it alienates you. Like.
Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily have to change our preferences or what we do, but I think the word acknowledge, can we acknowledge the other person, recognize them?
Acknowledge what's happening.
And even if it is maybe an odd thing. So I'm picturing, like bringing somebody to church with me here at St. Luke's. Maybe it's a communion Sunday, and it wouldn't be appropriate for them to take communion. To say, hey, by the way, later in our service, we're going to have communion. Like that's kind of a family thing. Listen to Pastor, he'll give some instructions, but we can talk more about it later. Like just acknowledge it.
Yeah. As opposed from like, what was this weird chanty thing? Everyone was eating bread and wine. Like acknowledge, name it.
Yeah.
I don't know I think that's where hospitality does well. And I think there's ways to knock hospitality out of the park, but I think the bare minimum, like, because the question was like the worst experiences, like, or what's...
When the time you didn't feel welcome or didn't feel included in a group of people. It's not a good feeling.
No.
It's not a good feeling. It separates, like it divides it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's not acknowledged, because then you can feel like you're the weird one or you're the alien.
Yeah. And that's even worse.
I also say, I want to acknowledge for a second, I live and move in circles where I'm not typically the stranger. So I am a white American, and most of our congregation is made of white Americans. So I don't know the last time I've been the only person of my ethnicity in a room. Like, can you think of a place? Maybe going, probably the last time is going to like a Middle Eastern restaurant. But even there, it's like there's the three people behind the counter and the other couple eating. And then Charlotte and I are the only two white people in the room.
Yeah.
Like that's the closest I can get to it.
As opposed from just everyone is like a melting pot and everyone. Because that's
true.
I've been to or it was like a Marshall's or something like in Federal Way and like standing in like this long line. I was like, oh, like I'm the only like white American here. But then again, like it was just a melting pot.
Yeah, to me, that feels less isolating
because everyone is.
If I walk into a school or a church and it's 200 black people and I'm the only white guy, that to me feels more like
Yeah.
the gap feels bigger than it. Hey, there's every ethnicity you can imagine in the room. I feel less alone than if, they're all Korean.
Yeah.
They're all Japanese, and I'm the only Caucasian person.
Mm-hmm.
So I still want to acknowledge, like, even at our church, we have a somewhat diverse congregation, but there are times when there is one African American in the room, or there is one family from India in the room, and I imagine that feels isolating. And I just kind of wanted to name the fact that I'm not typically the outsider.
Yeah.
So racially at our church, or I go to a pastor's conference or like a church worker conference and I'm a pastor, like I'm very often either in the majority or in the position of insider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say, most of my experiences in life too is that.
So maybe that also feeds into my feeling a burden to help connect. So a best practice is this conference where we were at, having been in our church body for a while and having served in a variety of contexts, I knew a lot of people there. But there are probably plenty of people there who didn't know anybody, and that stinks to potentially feel disconnected. And so those of us who maybe are in a given circle who are either insiders or in the majority, I think we have a responsibility to take the lead on making that connection rather than waiting for the new person to introduce themselves.
Yeah.
I felt the burden. Hey, let me make sure everybody knows each other in this circle rather than, well, who's that weirdo? Well, I guess they'll speak up if they want to. Yeah. No, it's my job. It's not their job.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I want to say not the majorities, but like, I don't know, if this is your house, like welcome your guests.
Yeah. I was reading something. I can't remember where now. I was online talking about hospitality at a church, and they had these like 6 questions of sort of who should be like feel the burden to reach out. And it was something like, do you know your way around the building more than this person? Do you know more people in the lobby than this person? Have you been here more times? Like, then it's your job.
And maybe, I think there's tactful ways, and I don't know, you can itemize ways to have, I don't know, more comfortable and natural ways to welcome and greet people. But either way, like more than half the battle is just going up and doing it. Even if you fail and you seem like a really awkward person, like it's probably better than as if you just ignored them.
Yeah. And I don't know how to say this differently, but like it's the insider's job. So you go to Olive Garden, if they don't greet you at the counter,
I feel like I'm intruding.
You feel more and more awkward, and the longer nobody greets you, the quicker you want to leave.
Yeah.
And it's not your job. So let's say the hostess is talking to her friend around the counter. Like, it's not your job to say, hey, excuse me, can my wife and I get a table? Like, it's their job to welcome you.
Yeah.
Like, they're the insiders there, and that burden's on them. And so I'm just kind of processing aloud. Many places I go, for better or for worse, I'm kind of in an insider position. And so I want to be more aware of this.
Yeah.
Because it feels awful to be excluded or not included. I guess excluded is like actively being pushed away, but not included isn't necessarily intentionally hurtful, but it hurts.
But it hurt. Yeah. It still hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know that I have energy to get into another card right now, Shane.
Energy.
Do you want to do another card? We can. I just don't want to rush the conversation. That's all.
I know. And I don't, do
you want to see one more?
I kind of do.
You do. I see it.
I kind of do.
Okay.
It's a fat deck.
It is. All right. I'm
just hoping it's what's your favorite flavor of vanilla ice cream? Vanilla.
Okay. This is a quick one. Maybe.
Yes. All right.
Based on the first line, what is one new, so that makes me think this is answerable. Okay. What is one new activity you think would be fun for your household to try or start? What is one new activity you think would be fun for your household to try or start? I've got one.
I got to think. Yeah. I got to think.
Okay.
Process.
What is one new activity you think would be fun for your household? And by the way, in this deck, the word household is something of a technical word because they're being intentional to say not just family, but household is like the people you do life with, whether they live in your house, whether they're related to you or not. So it could be a roommate, could be, the person you always have coffee with. Think during COVID, remember when the world was on fire and everybody lost their minds and we haven't found it yet. But there was that, like, who's in your bubble? Because like we were all isolated and distanced, but like unless they were in your bubble. So maybe it was your family, but it was also like these are the 4 families or households. Like that's what they mean by household. So don't just think if you're a single person, oh, this doesn't count for me, or I don't have kids, or I'm not married. No, like think about your bubble. Who are your people? So what is one new activity you think would be fun for you and your people to try or start? Mine is I want to do a Bob Ross painting.
A Bob Ross painting.
And I think I could get down with that like for a while. So I'm
You say you, like you think everyone else?
Me and my household.
Okay.
As for me and my house, we will serve Bob Ross paintings.
We'll serve Bob Ross paintings.
I've never done one. I've watched so many videos. I could narrate one to you and tell you what to do. I've never once done it. I think some of it is I'm intimidated by the cost of going to buy all the supplies.
I think the supplies is the hard part.
But I think if I had the supplies, I think my whole family would love to do that, and we could make that a monthly or quarterly, not weekly, because we can't afford that. But if it was once a quarter, once a year, a couple times a year, hey, it's Dad's birthday. All Dad wants for his birthday is to do a Bob Ross painting as a family. I think we've never done it, but I think we'd have fun. So that's Bob Ross painting. That's a new activity I would like to start with my household, or I think we would enjoy.
I think for me, I guess one that Lauren and I would like to get back into, because we talk about it every week and just haven't done it again.
I want to guess, Shane.
All right.
What's something you haven't done and you talk about every week? You said getting back into? I'm going to say the gym.
Well, yeah, that yes.
Okay, sorry.
But we lost our gym membership. Like we got expelled, but it expired a long time ago, and we just like haven't been back in a long time.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was going to say hiking.
Ooh, okay.
Lauren and I just always are talking about.
It's free. It's there.
It's free. Well, you got to get that state pass for the good stuff.
For some of the good, there's often you can park outside the bounds though.
Yeah, and they don't. I don't know how often they're actually checking.
Oh, they check, dude. Don't mess with park rangers.
All right. I'm not gonna overstep that line.
It's like an elf. The Central Park Rangers on the horses.
They just show up.
They're
when
intense.
You least expect.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, but yeah, that's something like we talk about every week, and there's something that was so good for us when we first moved here. Because when you first moved to Washington, it's just like, yeah. We're hiking, and you're hiking like every day, week, whatever. And it's so common. And for us, it's just been like months. We're like, man, like we got to hike again. Let's do that this weekend. And then something comes up. I don't know. Something's in the schedule. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So we want to hike again because it's also just a really great time. So I live 5 minutes from church. I'm like close.
Yeah.
And so I'm either here or at home. And in that time, that's the time I have to I don't know, just time to like think and be to yourself without having all the distractions or chores and everything of life. And when you're like in a car, you can't do that. Your objective is to drive. I mean, you can either listen to music, podcasts, think, whatever.
Outburst, dude.
Outburst.
Oh.
And hiking is kind of that same thing. Like, what do you do? Like, you hike. Like, that's what you do. But in that, like, you can just talk and think about life. And those are just really good times for Lauren and I, and just us, like individually too. That'd be something we really want to get back. And we just always talk about we're taking our kid on every hike, putting them in a backpack, and they're going with us.
I've got some memories, man. Those things. You better train. They get heavy. I've got memories of my kid just like slumped over sleeping, and I'm like trucking up this hill. Or Titus would just sing in my ear. He'd just like blah blah. He's like baby kind of babble.
Yeah.
He would just do that the whole time. It was
awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to hike. Like,
Okay.
we live in Washington, and it's just so rewarding. So
That encourages me because that's something that's not like a should I need to do this and I feel bad for not. But hearing you say that's like, oh, I want to do that.
yeah, and like when you live here, it's like you get to like. It's just such a cool privilege of just living in Washington. I lived in Wisconsin. You lived in St. Louis. I lived in Wisconsin. You had trails, and they're just the flat forest. Like, there's nothing fun.
Right.
Like, you just, like,
All right. Yours seems really actionable to me. So what's the next step for you? What would, if like inertia, momentum's against you right now, and I've been listening to reading parts of like Atomic Habits, and so, all right, what's a 2-minute version of this? Like, what's a easy first step to like just shake the cobwebs off?
Talk to Lauren.
Okay. And then what do you think you or she could commit to?
Put it in the calendar.
Okay.
That's
and
it.
when you say it, are you I'm gonna drive to Mount Hood in Portland and do a 7-hour hike?
I'd say
probably not.
We find an easy nearby trail.
Okay.
And we do that. And if we have more ambition leading up to it, we can change it.
Okay. How are you going to find an easy nearby trail?
We got two. We got Dash Point State Park, or we have, what's it called? The one in Des Moines.
Saltwater?
Saltwater, yes.
I've never been there.
You're not missing.
Okay, that's fine.
Dash Point's way better.
There's free parking at Dash Point State Park.
Where is the free parking?
Up on the road.
Hill?
Up on the road.
It's like not. That's like you park and then you have to walk a mile to get like to the park.
Well, we can talk off air, but if you park at the top, it's 1.5 miles to the water.
Yeah,
and then 1.5 miles back.
Yeah, I could park for free in Seattle, but I have to park in Olympia. I don't know. Like, it's all free relative to how far you have to walk.
I think it depends on do you want to finish uphill or downhill?
I think I'd be fine parking anywhere and walking.
Right.
I just find it hilarious. Like, you could park for free parking at a Seahawk game if you park at your house and walk to the light rail. Like, yeah, it's free. Like.
Good point. For me, the way I do that there, the water is the reward at the end.
Yes.
And then I have to turn around and go back uphill. But if you park down by the water and you go uphill, like the street is we made it to the street.
Yeah. And that's
back.
what a hike. I mean, the odds are if you want a really cool hike, you're not parking at the coolest overview spot, and then you're walking to the bottom and back up. Right. So like it's the same. I get it.
So parking at the street, I get the payoff. There's a payoff there.
It makes sense logically, but it's just funny to me.
Right. Like, I've got some books I could loan you if you want on hikes in the Northwest.
Ooh, you've already lent me several. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, there you go.
I got to do that.
All right, I'm gonna consider buying some Bob Ross paint for maybe my birthday. Put it my Christmas. We could do that like for family Christmas this year.
You could also just buy the 50-cent Crayola watercolors.
Doesn't work with watercolors. Titus tried that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
It was a disaster. He had fun. Painting didn't turn out.
Do you think all your paintings are going to turn out?
I think I could pull off a Bob Ross painting.
Okay.
I'm also overly confident about most things in life. Oh, I can do that. Some things I'm getting more aware of that I'm not. I think if you gave me the supplies and I could pause the video.
Oh, I was going to say you can't rewatch the video.
No, I got to pause it. That reminds me, there's a guy on YouTube who I think he's Australian who has these adventurous Bob Ross paintings like challenges. So, for example, he did one in it. His editor made it black and white and muted every time Bob said a color, so you couldn't see what the color was. For another one, there were two simultaneous going on,
and you had to do both.
Yeah, and for another one, he didn't see the painting; it was just all he had was the audio in his earbuds.
Oh, that's really
so
fun.
His, I think it's like Jazza Jazza is his name. I don't know. It might get inappropriate. I don't endorse the channel, but he does these Bob Ross challenges, which are amazing. But I think if I had the supplies and I could pause it, I think I'd be proud of the result.
That would be fun. I would love to see it. I want to see an outcome of your Bob Ross painting.
Okay. Send us the supplies. I don't know. Is there a button where people can donate to the Bob Ross Dan Weber Fund? No.
There's, I think, a link to our church donation tab.
All right. Donate to the podcast or just show up with some acrylic. I don't know. Some paint.
Yeah.
I need a canvas. I need a easel.
Lead paint.
And then you got to beat the devil out of the brush. I'm ready for that.
And then just be left with a lot of happy mistakes.
Yeah. We could turn the podcast room into our art studio.
Kind of already is.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Shane, this has been awesome. Let's not wait 20 days before we do it again. Because you'd be surprised just how many days are in a week. I mean,
and you miss 1 week, it's 14 days.
That is half. You miss a day of podcast. It's half a month. It's half a month, people. Do the math.
And we're in February. It is 14 days.
That is
literally half the month.
That is. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Shane, thanks for the conversation.
Likewise.
Look forward to the next time.
See ya.
That's the end of the episode, but we want to continue the conversation. Continue the conversation by sharing this episode, subscribing, or leaving a review. Connect with us on Instagram at 2414 podcast. Connect with us through email at 2414@stlukes-church.com. Or best of all, keep the conversation going by inviting someone to process with you so that you can each walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. If you happen to be in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington, stop by on a Sunday morning and say hi. 2414 is a podcast produced by St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Federal Way, Washington. To find more content, discover upcoming opportunities to connect in person, or to support the show, head on over to stlukes-church.com. Thanks for walking with us.